Shouting and pointing, demands for apologies, bullying of the weakest, and increasingly hysterical cries of shame, shame, shame. Who needs the Jeremy Kyle show when you have the STV Leaders Debate? Tuesday night's encounter was not an exact replacement for Kyle's late and unlamented three-ring circus. No one, as far as I recall, demanded a lie detector test, but had the program run on past the hour there is no telling where it would have ended up. A brawl in the car park at Pacific Quay perhaps? Still, the debate was well worth having, if only to produce a sight so rare it is up there with baby pandas and Richard Leonard having a good day on the campaign trail. To wit, Nicola Sturgeon, First Minister of Scotland, being held to account and feeling the heat. Earlier that day, the results of the 2018 Programme for International Student Assessment, Pisa, survey had been published, and they did not make welcome reading for Scotland's pupils. Scotland's educational performance, on which the country has always prided itself, rightly or wrongly, was revealed to be a dangerously leaning tower. Reading levels were up, but performances in maths and science were falling and at record lows. Lindsay Paterson, Professor of Education Policy at Edinburgh University, described Scotland's overall performance as stagnating in mediocrity. As well as being taken to task on education, the subject on which she has asked to be judged first and foremost, the First Minister was asked about the state of Scotland's hospitals. This was not the first time she had been tackled on the subject on television. There was Andrew Neil's now famous question to her on November 25 in his BBC One show. After stating that only 2 of 8 waiting time targets had been hit, Neil went on, "Children are dying in a new Glasgow hospital because the water is contaminated, perhaps by pigeon droppings. A new multi-million-pound Edinburgh hospital, should have opened in 2012, is still unfit to open. You can't even get the ventilation system to work. You've got the worst drug addiction problem in Europe, but you cut drug treatment budgets by £15 million. You clung on to your last health minister, you are under pressure to sack her successor. You've called for legislation to protect the NHS from Donald Trump. Maybe the NHS needs legislation to protect it from Nicola Sturgeon?" It was a blistering inquiry. To be fair to Miss Sturgeon, she had responses for both Neil last week and her interrogators on Tuesday. To Neil, she pointed out, among other things, the £850 million being put into meeting waiting time targets, the public inquiry into the Royal Hospital for Sick Children in Edinburgh, and the extremely high public satisfaction ratings for the NHS in Scotland. In the STV debate she highlighted the improvement in reading. The question here is not how she performed. For more on this story, visit the news article link.